Good afternoon to all of you. So today we are going to discuss about the surface active agents in disinfection process. So what do you know about the surface active agents? I think you have studied in the previous year. So the surface active agent, or it is also known as surfactant. It is a substance which lowers the surface tension of the medium in which it is dissolved, and the interfacial tension with other phase and is positively absorbed at the liquid vapor interface and other interfaces. So surfactants are nothing but which lower the surface tension of a liquid by spreading spontaneously over the surface in which it is dissolved. So, and also once more, the surfactants lower the surface tension of an aqueous solution. So they are used as wetting agents, detergents, emulsifiers, antiseptics and disinfectants. So as antimicrobials, they alter energy relationship at interfaces. So based on the position of hydrophobic moiety, which means which does in contact with water, hydrophobic moiety in the molecule, surfactants are classified as anionic or cationic surfactants. So not only this anionic and cationic, there are other two surfactants are present that we will discuss. Now coming to the mode of action. So what is the mode of action? They have a property of concentrating at interfaces. Interface between lipid containing membrane of the bacterial cell and surrounding aqueous medium. So where it will be the lipid containing membrane? That means within the outer membrane or outer portion of the bacteria, that is lipid containing membrane of the bacterial cell, which is placed in a surrounding aqueous medium. So they have a property on concentrating in these interfaces, okay? And these compounds have long chain hydrocarbons. So either cationic or anionic surfactants, they have a long chain hydrocarbons, which are hydrocarbons means they are fat soluble and charged ions. That are fat soluble and charged ions, and also another is it also consists of water soluble portion also. So long chain hydrocarbons which are both fat soluble, I think I have repeated the same word, sorry. So they are fat soluble and also water soluble portion is present. So since this long chain hydrocarbons contain both of these, so they are easy to concentrate on the surface of the membrane because membrane has both fat soluble area and water soluble area. So as a result, these surfactants can disrupt the membrane. So what happens? It may result in the, as a result of the breakage of the cell membrane, this may result in the leakage of cell constituents. So this is the mode of action. Now classification of surface active agents. What are the different classifications? Anionic surfactants, cationic surfactants, non-ionic surfactants, then amphoteric surfactants. Anionic surfactants. So, the surfactants containing negatively charged long chain hydrocarbons. So, already I have discussed the surfactants are nothing but it is a long chain hydrocarbon. If the surfactants contain negatively charged long chain hydrocarbon, they are called anionic detergents. Example, soaps and bile salts. Soaps are dipolar anionic detergents with general formula RCOONA. Na means sodium or potassium. And these are capable of dissociating in the water, and it can be converted now to hydrophilic potassium plus or sodium plus ions and lipophilic fatty acid ions. So they are dissociated into these molecules. Because of the sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxides are strong bases that you know, most fatty acids are weak acids. So the fatty acid ions which are weak acids and this sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxides are strong bases. So what happens? Because they are strong bases, most of the soap solution are always alkaline. That means it has a pH in between 8 and 10. So there may be a chance for irritating sensitive skin and mucous membrane. Okay. Then the soaps emulsify. What does the soap perform? Like lipoidal secretions of the skin and remove along with accompanying dirt. So along with the fat content within lipid content within the skin, it also removes the dirt, desquamated epithelium and bacteria. So which are then rinsed away with water. The antibacterial potency of the soaps, it is often enhanced. How? By the inclusion of certain antiseptics. If we are adding antiseptics in addition with the soaps, their antibacterial potency can be enhanced. Example, hexachlorophene, phenols, carbanylids or potassium iodide. They are incompatible with cationic surfactants. And about this anionic surfactants, they have moderate action. They are strong detergents, but comparing to cationic surfactants, they are weak antimicrobial property and they are also active at acidic pH. Soaps prepared from saturated fatty acids, that means coconut oil, these are more effective against gram-negative bacilli, while those prepared from unsaturated fatty acids such as oleic acid, they have greater action against gram-positive bacteria and Neisseria group of organisms. Neisseria group are gram-negative cocobacilli, okay? Next is about cationic detergents. If the fat-soluble part, it is made to have a positive charge. Now, already I have discussed anionic which have negative charge. If the fat-soluble part is made to have a positive charge by combining with quaternary nitrogen atom, then it is called what? Cationic detergents. It is also known as quaternary ammonium compounds. Example for this type of detergents are cetrimide and benzalkonium chloride. Now, these cationic detergents are a group of alkyl or aryl substituted quaternary ammonium compounds. So, they are either alkyl or aryl substituted quaternary ammonium compounds. Example, benzalkonium chloride, benzathonium chloride, cetyl pyridinium chloride, etc. And they possess an ionizable halogen such as either chlorine, bromine, bromide or iodide. So they are accompanying this ionizable halogen. What is the major site of action of these compounds? They appear to be cell membrane. Mainly these detergents act on the interface and they disrupt the cell membrane that we have already discussed. So they become absorbed onto this membrane and causes what? Change in the permeability of the membrane. That means breakage of membrane, change in permeability of the membrane. As a result, the cell contents are released out. The activity of older quaternary ammonium compounds is reduced by acidic pH. So, whenever acidic pH is present or when the water is a hard water or the water containing organic matter or it contains soap, this may reduce the activity of this quaternary ammonium compounds. Or due to the porous or fibrous materials which are present such as fabric, cellulose, sponges, etc. that absorb them, their activity can be reduced. So the activity of these cationic detergents reduced by these compounds. They are also inactivated by anionic substance. What are anionic substance? Soaps, I have already discussed. Protein, fatty acids, phosphates. Therefore, they are of limited value in the presence of blood and tissue debris. Now, quaternary ammonium compounds are more effective. What is the action? Effective against most bacteria, enveloped virus, some fungi including yeast and protozoa, but not active against non-enveloped viruses, mycobacteria and spores. Aqueous solution, that is 1:1000 to 1:5000. They have a good antimicrobial activity, especially at slightly alkaline pH. They are commonly used for disinfection of non-critical instruments and hard surface cleaning. When they are applied to the skin, they may form a film under which the microorganisms can survive, which limits their reliability as antiseptics. They form a film under which microorganisms can survive. So, concentration greater than 1% are injurious to the mucous membrane too. So, among these cationic detergents, one example, octeniidine dihydrochloride is a cationic detergent which is used increasingly in Europe as an alternative to quaternaries, chlorhexidine and iodophores for the skin, mucous membrane and wound antisepsis. Next is amphoteric surfactants. So, this type of surfactants have both detergent and antimicrobial activity. They are active over a wide range of pH, but it is reduced. Their activity is reduced in the presence of organic matter. The best known materials in this class are amine oxides and betanes. As amphoteric materials at acidic pH, they can take on the positive charge, thus yielding stronger affinity for cell membrane, provided the cell membrane isoelectric point is not achieved. So, the isoelectric point of cell membrane is not achieved at that time when they have strong affinity for the cell membrane. Example for this amphoteric surfactants are Digo compounds. They are active against wide range of gram-positive, gram-negative organisms and some viruses. And also they are used as antiseptics in dental practice but cause an allergic reactions. Then coming is non-ionic surfactants. A non-ionic surfactant, it is a type of surfactant that does not carry a charge on its hydrophilic head. So, doesn't carry any charge and is therefore milder in nature. Due to this mildness associated with non-ionic surfactants, they are commonly used throughout the home and personal care markets as well as in agrochemical industries. So, these are all about detergents, that means surface active agents. Next is about oxidizing agents. Oxidizing agents include mainly peroxides, ozones and peracetic acid which kill by oxidation of microbial enzymes, and it is a high level disinfectant and antiseptic. Hydrogen peroxide can disinfect and sterilize surface of objects. Ozone can be used in the treatment of drinking water. Peracetic acid is effective sporicide used to sterilize equipments. Now coming hydrogen peroxide, it consists of oxygen and hydrogen atoms, and this can be found everywhere on earth. Hydrogen peroxide contains a combination of 2 hydrogen atoms and 2 oxygen atoms. So in the environment, hydrogen peroxide can be found in a very low concentration. Gaseous hydrogen peroxide is produced by photochemical reactions in the atmosphere surrounding the earth. It can be found in water in small quantities. Now coming to the mode of action that I will discuss in the next part. Okay.